So Chrystal Ciodyk,
Mhm.
welcome to and founder of the Chrystal Clinic.
Mhm.
Welcome to the show. Excited to
Thank
have
you.
you on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how would just to set the tone and create context for the audience listening, how would you describe what you guys do in maybe a couple sentences?
I guess I like to offer natural ways of healing. There's a lot of ways to heal out there, and I sort of came into acupuncture. I discovered it about 15 years ago,
Mm.
and I knew it was like my mission in life to learn it and share it with everyone. And doing that and opening my clinic in 2020, I was discovering that there's a lot of ways to heal, and people like to heal in different ways. So I like to offer a lot of different ways for them to heal.
Opened in 2020. Was
Mhm.
that right before COVID or during COVID?
Right during COVID. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Everyone told me I was crazy and I shouldn't open during COVID, but I said I've been waiting 10 years to share this medicine with
Right.
people. So
Yeah,
COVID's
good
not going
for
to stop
you.
me.
That's right. Good for you. I did the same thing. I started my marketing business in 2020 and really it was July 2020. I quit my corporate job and started the marketing stuff full time. And people were said the same thing. They were like, "Now, I don't know if now's a good time. You never know what's going to happen. And we're kind of in the middle of this pandemic." And,
Hmm.
but like you, is there ever a perfect time? I mean, if it's
No.
not now, it's
Yeah.
later and then you delay it and then it's, oh, I'll do it next year. And then pretty soon just later turns into never as well.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
had heard the same kind of pushback when I started school back in 2014. I had 2 kids and I was commuting from Sycamore to Chicago. And I had people telling me, like, there's no way you can do that for 5 years, like commute to the city and raise your kids and work and do everything. And I was like, you know what? Watch me.
I
so,
love that. I
so
love that
that's,
mentality. That's so cool. Well, we're going to get into all of it. I think if you're a founder, entrepreneur, anyone listening to this, mental health matters. How we take care of ourselves matters. It affects how we run our business and how we operate as a parent. And if you're not well in the mind, in the spirit, and in the body, you're probably not going to perform as well, at least not long term. So, did you notice when you got into acupuncture and the different types of more natural healing and things like that? Was it because that you noticed something was broken in the current healthcare or health well-being system?
actually, I discovered the medicine about 15 years ago.
Hmm.
I had an experience with it. I used acupuncture to sort of induce the labor of my second child.
Wow.
And 2 hours later, I went into labor. And then
Wow.
I used Chinese herbal medicine to help with the breastfeeding. So that it was like a lightning bolt hit me. And I went back to the lady and I said, "What is this acupuncture and herbs?" And she said, "These are tools of a medicine that's been used for thousands of years. And you can use these tools to heal pretty much anything." So then I
Wow.
just knew I was on track to study physical therapy before. So I knew I wanted to help people heal. But having an experience with these tools really opened my eyes and shifted my focus. And then it actually took me 5 years to go back to school because I had the 2 kids, and then 5 years in school. That's why I had waited 10 years. And then I was opening the business and COVID happened. And I said, I don't care. I've been waiting 10 years. Like, COVID's not going to stop me.
Yeah.
And so I did. But yeah, definitely I'm hearing lately more and more people are they're at their wits' end with Western medicine, pharmaceuticals, surgeries. A lot of doctors, they only spend a few minutes with the patient. They don't feel like they're being heard. They don't feel like the pharmaceuticals are really helping or they're giving them side effects. So I do feel like, especially lately, like people are really looking for a more natural way to heal. And
Mm.
that's what I have to offer.
It does feel like Western medicine is a bit broken in terms of, and there's a lot of good things about it. We're
Oh,
very
yeah,
thankful to have a good healthcare when you need a surgery or something like this. Like, I think we have
exactly.
pretty good service, but I do feel like it, and I think a lot of people agree, it tends to be here's a prescription, here's the medication, here's that. When we know, and I'd love to get into it with you, we know there's thousands of years old herbal medications, there's acupuncture, there's other healing methods.
Mhm.
Why do you think those don't get talked about enough?
I just think it's our society, our culture, our country, and we kind of grew up on Western medicine. If you're sick, you go to the doctor, they give you an antibiotic or whatever. And then the whole pharmaceutical boom happened, and everybody wants a magic pill to fix everything. But I like to work integratively. Actually, I have a really great doctor that sends me a lot of patients, and I send him patients. We work integratively. I tell people if you're having an emergency situation, a car accident, a heart attack, like go there. They're
Yeah,
really great at emergency
right.
stuff. But for the more chronic everyday stuff, I feel like the natural way, if you can heal something naturally, why not try that first?
Mm.
So
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of money has just gotten involved, and now it's
insurance is a nightmare.
insurances, and just if you just follow the money, honestly, with anything, if you just follow the money, you'll see. Okay, now I know why we're doing it because that all the people in power are in positions to, accumulate this money because of this. They're the ones making these decisions. And again, I think we're on the same page with there's a lot of good things that come from modern medicine, but there's a lot of things that if I bet in this country, in the United States of America, if we all just took care of ourselves a lot better, whether it's mental health, whether it's eating right, exercising, trying herbal medicines first and things like that, we would bring down healthcare costs dramatically. We would have less people going to hospitals. The pandemic wouldn't have been as bad. I mean, do you feel that way, that I think we can just solve a lot of these problems
Definitely.
naturally?
They call it preventative care too.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I give my patients the homework assignment. I want you to do something every day, something once a week, and something once a month to bring your mind and body in balance. But it should also bring you joy, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to go running if you hate running. So
Mhm.
pick something that'll bring you joy. I also like to tell them like gluten, dairy, and sugar are not our friends. Alcohol and spicy too, because those 5 things are going to put inflammation in the body. We can't say we're never going to have them, because you probably
Right.
will, but we really want to find that healthy balance or relationship with those things. And then we want to stick close to nature. So anything you find in nature is going to be good. Anything made by man, not as much, right? And I tell them it's a never ending journey that we're all on. So we can't be too hard on ourselves, but
Yeah.
just try to
Yeah,
remember,
that's right.
those
Well,
things are not your friend.
is it milk though, nature? Isn't that pretty,
Yeah, but a
like the
lot of
processed
people
stuff?
have, and it's processed, and a
Yeah.
lot of people have lactose or dairy intolerance.
Right.
In Chinese medicine, we look at dairy as causing like phlegm, extra phlegm in the body. So it's really just, if it works for you, if you have a yogurt here or there, like that's
Yeah.
fine. But some people are just, overdoing it in some gluten, dairy, sugar areas, and that's what
Mhm.
really leads to a lot of inflammation and
Yeah.
problems. So if they can back off of those things, they can give their body a chance to see how you feel if you stick close to
Yeah.
nature.
I always tell my kids the same thing, and I'm no expert in this, but I say if it came from the ground or was roaming on the ground, probably good for you.
Mhm.
If it came from a plant or a factory, probably not.
Mhm.
That's my rule of thumb. And so as we go to the store, I'll be like, "Where do you think this came from? A factory or the ground?"
Mhm.
And they're like, "That's came from a factory." I was like, "Cool." Well, it's not that we can never have good things that taste amazing. I think there's a lot of natural things that taste really good too.
Mhm.
It's not that you can't have a snack or a treat once in a while, or alcohol or whatever it is, your choice. It's just that it seems like you don't want to be doing that stuff every single day. And
Mhm.
can you talk a little bit about inflammation and what that is? Because when I think of inflammation, I think of like, oh, my neck's hot or my arm's hot because I have an injury or something like that. But there's a different type of inflammation that you're talking about from eating processed foods. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I see it a lot with gluten, dairy, and sugar. A lot of people don't know about the glyphosate, like the Roundup that they spray on our foods, that actually damages your gut lining and allows certain things, particles to leak out. Like you've heard of leaky gut, things like that.
Mm,
So when you're having those kind of things happening, or you're consuming a lot of gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol, you're putting Chinese medicine actually calls it damp heat. It translates to inflammation basically. So that kind of stuff is just hanging out in your body. It'll go to certain places, especially where you're weak. If you have a little weakness in the knee, it's going to go there. And then you're
really?
going to end up being diagnosed with arthritis, things like that. So a lot of imbalances stem from inflammation.
Mm. I
And it's,
have someone that's close to me. I won't mention their name, but they drink a lot of sugary coffees.
mhm,
Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, the kind, the
mhm.
grande, the ventis, and they get, a few of them a day. What can you break that down? Because then maybe they'll listen to this. What is it really doing to the body other than what you just mentioned? Like, and long term wise, if they do this for a year, 2 years longer.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's bodies go out of balance in different ways. So it kind of depends on their constitution, what they're starting out with. So, like some people that do that, they get like breakouts on their face. That's inflammation coming out in your face.
Yeah.
Some people will start to get acid reflux. That's inflammation in the stomach. Your stomach energy is supposed to send things down and out, but it's out of balance. It's weak. It's coming back up. So some people feel it in their joints and muscles. They get aches and pains everywhere. That's inflammation going there. So
Mm,
by consuming those gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol, spicy, consuming those inflammatory things, depending on your constitution and what's going on in your body, you're going to feel it or experience it in different ways.
mm.
So
Where do you guys draw the line between mental type health and then physical stuff? Do you guys do both? Because they are both very connected.
oh
If
yeah.
I come to your clinic, am I going to talk to somebody about potentially both? Because there's
Yeah.
like the physical stuff of what the sugar's doing to this person that's drinking the sugary coffees.
hmm
But then the other side, there's the mental hurdle of I can't stop drinking these damn things.
I actually went through that myself.
Really?
I have an older son. He was going through some mental health stuff, and I actually had to put him into a program to get the help he needed. And in doing that, it really was like hurting my mom heart so bad. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
sad. I want a cookie, So I'd have a
Yeah.
sweet treat or the coffees. I love me a good latte too.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I was consuming too much, and I was having a hard time to stop. And I was looking for like, what can I do? I actually hired a personal trainer for a month. I was like, this is how I'm going to do it. But I didn't back off the coffees and sweet treats that much. So finally, I came across a company that's called Purium. They grow all their own superfoods out in California. They test the soil. They turn the superfoods into a powder at a certain temperature. And the company is really big on helping you get rid of the glyphosate that they spray on the foods, the heavy metals that we are consuming, and the parasites. Actually, that's another topic that a lot of people don't know about, but it's something we talked about in school. Like basically everyone has parasites, and other countries will do a parasite cleanse like once or twice a year to get rid of them. In this country, they never really talk about it. But
What are parasites for those that don't know?
like
Including
little
myself.
little bugs, actually, like little creatures and
Right.
bugs. You can get them from especially meat, sushi. People that have pets can get parasites. Lots of ways you can get them. Basically, everybody has them. So we need to do a parasite cleanse at least once a year to kind of help get rid of those. And the company that I found 3 months ago, I started doing their supplements, getting rid of the parasites, getting rid of the glyphosate, repairing the gut lining, getting rid of heavy metals with certain supplements and superfood powders that you just mix with water, or you can mix it with coconut water if you want to. You can add extra, sometimes I'll add avocado or I'll add mango or something to it. But I drink superfood shakes for breakfast and lunch, and I take my supplements. And in the last 3 months, like I've lost weight. I have less brain fog, more energy. Like I just feel so amazing. And so I'm really
Wow.
passionate about the company and the whole protocol, and I love to share it. I feel like it was the missing piece to my clinic too, because you can come to me for acupuncture. I can do all the acupuncture I want, but if you go home and you're eating bad stuff
Yeah.
and you're not clearing your body of these toxins, then you're just kind of climbing an uphill battle. So
is that what got you off the coffee and the sugar
it
stuff?
is, yeah.
Really?
Within 3 weeks, I had no more sugar cravings.
Really?
It was amazing. Yeah.
So did you have to change your entire diet? Like, did you have to be so strict that you couldn't eat anything that was brought, or how did that work?
No, I basically drink the shakes for breakfast and lunch, and I
Okay.
eat a healthy dinner.
Okay.
They say you can eat as many fruits and vegetables as you want throughout the day. Like one day I was at home and I just felt like having soup, so I made soup instead of having a shake. It's not like you can only have the shakes,
Okay.
but it's really my go-to, especially in the mornings. I'm very busy. I have 3 kids. I'm getting them to 3 different schools, and I'm getting to work on time. So it's so convenient just to grab my shake and go. It's really helping me not to go out to lunch either. That was really easy to do.
dang,
Being
Chrystal.
downtown Sycamore, I could just go
Yeah.
across the street and have
Oh,
some tacos,
yeah.
And so I bring my shakes with me for lunch too, so I'm not, and tacos across the street are not as bad as McDonald's, but they're not as good as superfoods.
Definitely. Definitely.
So it's really exciting how the difference that you feel. So
Yeah. But there had to been something from a mindset standpoint, right? Of you being able to, because you could tell someone, hey, get these shakes or like eat a healthy dinner, but they're like, I know that, Chrystal. Like I know I need to be doing something else or substituting. I can't get past the addiction.
Mhm.
How do you get past an addiction that you're stuck on, whether it's sugar or alcohol, whatever it is?
I love to recommend the book, The Untethered Soul. So it helps you understand the difference between your psyche and your consciousness. So your psyche is like that voice in your head that was developed as part of your ego as like a protection mechanism. And your consciousness is who you are. It's who you were when you were born, when you were little, who you are now, who you'll always be. So once you understand the difference between the two, you have a lot more control over the psyche. The author of the book calls the psyche the annoying roommate in your mind, And when I'm trying to help my patients understand this so they can have more control over the psyche, because that's what it is, the psyche kicking in, telling you that you want this or you need this or something like that. I like to give the example, like, say you decide you're going to go to the gym at 5 a.m. every day, right? Third day in, you're laying in bed, and the psyche kicks in and is like, you're comfortable, you're warm, or
Mm-hmm.
you have these things to do, kind of talking you out of going. Your consciousness kicks in and is like, wait, we made an agreement, we made a deal, we're going to get up and go. So you get into this mental battle.
Yes.
That kind of stuff happens all the time, and people don't realize it. And that's what's happening with addiction as well. So if you can learn, if you just listen to this book and kind of understand the difference between the two, you are able to have a lot more control over your psyche.
That's exactly what happens, because it's literally feels like a mental battle.
Mhm.
One side's telling you, hey, you made this commitment. I know a lot of y'all are listening to this right now. It's 2026, first month of the year. You guys probably made some commitments. Hopefully you're sticking with them, but we're humans. Sometimes we don't, and we got to get back on that wagon. But it feels like there's this battle of like, oh, don't take the right turn and go to the store, or get the coffee or the drink or whatever it is. And then the other part's like, get it. It's comfortable. It feels good. You're used to this. Why does that happen? Do you know?
Just like the book explains, the psyche was developed as part of your ego as a protection mechanism. So it is trying to protect you, but also likes to keep you comfortable, right?
Okay. I was going to say, is it protection by keeping you comfortable? Because it's not protecting you from being at your best health state.
Right. Yeah. It likes to be comfortable. The psyche really likes to be comfortable and kind of keep you where you're at sometimes. So that's why your consciousness needs to step in and be like, break through that comfort, because a lot of times we know that you're going to feel better on the other side of breaking through that.
Right. And you always do too. It's right. I always tell people, like, after you work out, I've never worked out one time and been like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
No
Every
one
time I'm
regrets.
like, I feel good. I'm like, thank God I got that out of the way for the day. I feel better about myself. I feel like my habits for the rest of the day are probably going to be better. It always feels better at the end when you do the right thing. But for some reason, it's just easy, and we got that voice
Yep.
that, subconscious telling us, or not subconscious, but what'd you call it?
The psyche.
The psyche.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The annoying roommate in your mind.
Yes.
That's what the author of the book
That
calls it.
is. So recommend reading that book. Anything else that you tell people? Because it sounds like was it just reading the book that helped you conquer it, or was there something
Well,
else that really stuck out?
I actually listened to that book my last semester of school, so probably 7 years ago. So that changed my life, actually listening to that book.
Wow.
And then I have been able to have more control over my psyche ever since. So there are a lot of other little tips and tidbits I tell my patients. One of them, I like them to, actually their homework assignment is, I want you to do something every day, something once a week, and something once a month to bring your mind and body in balance. A lot of times people come in with sort of like a negative mindset. So I have to recognize that and try to help them understand what's going on here. There is something called the nocebo effect. So a lot of people have heard of placebo effect, where people take a sugar pill and get better. There's something called nocebo effect, where they actually told people they have cancer and their hair started falling out and they were getting nauseous and they were having pain. All these bad things were happening, but they really didn't have it. So that's just proving how powerful the mind actually is.
That's wild.
So if I have a patient coming in telling me, like, I can't sleep, I'm never going to be able to sleep, I haven't slept my whole life, I'm like, well, let's not nocebo yourself,
Yeah.
The body always wants to come back into homeostasis. Remember that big word we learned in 8th grade,
Yeah.
homeostasis? The body always wants to come back into homeostasis. We just have to give it the right tools to get there and make sure we're not noceboing ourselves.
That I saw the video that you posted. I think it was on Facebook or Instagram about the nocebo, and I wanted to talk to you about it today because I think it's just it is a powerful reminder of how strong and powerful the mind is. I mean, here they are telling someone they have this disease that they don't even have. Which, by the way, that's kind of crazy to tell someone they have cancer and they don't.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, maybe you got to sign up for something like that, but that's pretty. I think you'd be pretty damn relieved when you found out you didn't. But it just shows we tell a story in our head. And we get fixated on something, and then we just go down this rabbit hole, and then we become that thing that we think about all the time. A good advice I got a while back was, what story are you telling? What's the story that you're telling in your mind? And you're right. And I've heard people say it all the time, like, don't say, I'm bad with name, or I'm bad with this, or I typically don't sleep. I'm not the type of person that does this. Rewire that thinking, right? Is that what you have to do? Is it start by just what you say, and then that follows actions and things like that follow? You got to put together a plan maybe, or something like that, but
definitely
maybe it's that simple sometimes.
Our thoughts create our habits, right? And then our habits become our lifestyle.
Yeah, that really is how it works. I assume there's studies on that type of stuff, the nocebo stuff. I was looking at a couple of stuff afterwards, but have you ever experienced that firsthand with you or someone else that has come in? You guys don't do that type of studies, I assume, but
No, but I was actually just battling my own mind the other day. I like to have a lot of different ways to heal for
mm-hmm.
people because I've learned that people like to heal in different ways. That's why I
Yeah.
encourage them to do things that bring you joy. At my clinic, I have acupuncture, a full herbal pharmacy for customized Chinese herbal medicine, red light therapy, chakra light therapy. I have a massage therapist. I do energetic healing. It's called biodynamic cranial sacral. It's kind of similar to Reiki. And I got a calling for the third time to get my own license in massage therapy. So I'm able to do massage as well. So I'm actually in school for that. And then for over 2 years, I've been studying with shamans in Batavia. So, shamanism is a whole nother way to heal that I discovered when I was looking for a way to help my oldest son. He has mental health issues, and would tell me, I don't want your needles. So, I had to find another way for him to heal. One of my friends that I went to school with, her husband was studying with shamans. So, that's how I discovered them. There's a place called Healing Arts Metaphysical Center in downtown Batavia. I started taking my son there, and then I started receiving some shamanic healing myself. So the way I like to think about it is long, long ago, before modern times, when people were sick, they would go to the shaman. The shaman was the doctor back then.
Mm.
And they had shamans all over the world. North America, South America, Africa, India, Asia, everywhere had their shamans,
Mm.
right? Which all practice sort of similarly, probably have a little bit different style. But that was the original way that people healed. Like even before acupuncture,
Wow.
people would go see a shaman and get shamanic healing. So it was really exciting for me to discover this, experience it myself. And then just like when I discovered acupuncture, it was like a lightning bolt hit me and I was like, I have to learn this and study it.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of mental battle then. I was like, well, what if they don't want me or accept me? Or what are my friends and family going to think about this?
Mm-hmm.
But I just pushed through it because sometimes when you feel something like so much in your heart that this is part of your mission, this is what you have to do, you kind of learn how to overcome those mental battles and just go for it.
Yeah.
So I've been studying with them about over 2 years. And last Sunday was the first time that we would actually put together, we have a lot of different tools in shamanism, just like with acupuncture. I have my needles, I have cupping, I have gua sha, scraping tool, I have moxibustion, like an herb that we burn for healing. So there's lots of tools in Chinese medicine. There's lots of different tools in shamanism. So I've been collecting my tools over the last 2 years, and Sunday was the first time we had to put it all together and work on our partner for an hour. And again, that mental battle came up on my way to class. My psyche was saying, you can't do this. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing, you know? So I had to break through and just like my consciousness had to step in and be like, well, you're going to give it a try and hopefully you do know how to do
Yeah.
it. So once I was in class and we started working on it, or I was working on my partner, everything just started to flow and it just went really well. And the partner actually let me know after class that it was really a helpful session. So I felt so much better. But that's the thing. Sometimes we just have to recognize that our psyche's kicking in and kind of
Totally.
trying to detour us or almost sabotage you sometimes in a way you feel like you're like, hey,
Yeah.
So I just recognize, I know I'm like, okay, annoying roommate, like, shh, be quiet. Like I'm going for this, you know?
And
So
that's what's interesting to go back to that same point, because I feel like I've had that happen come up with meetings or you're going to speak on stage. And sometimes like it's almost I feel like I'm psyching myself out sometimes. And I'm
yeah.
like, dude, it's going to be fine. The meeting's going to go great. You know what you're doing. You've done this 100 times. Like,
hmm
but it goes back to why would we try to sabotage ourselves? Like, what would be the benefit? I know sometimes it's like staying comfortable, but what would be the benefit of your psyche saying, hey, you can't do this, or who are you to do this? Does it go back to safety and comfort?
It really does. And in the book, The Untethered Soul,
Yeah.
he really goes into it deeply and it's very helpful to listen. Some people don't like to listen to audiobooks. I
Yeah.
personally love them. I
Yeah.
say the brain wants to eat just like the belly, so we need to feed it something good.
Yeah.
So I love to listen to audiobooks when I'm washing dishes or folding laundry,
Me too.
taking a walk
Or
sometimes.
podcasts are great too for that. I actually
Exactly.
prefer those more, even though it's maybe sometimes not as specific in terms of what you want to learn about or a book.
hmm
But I like podcasts because it's like conversational.
hmm
You know, sometimes the audio, depending on who it is, though. If it's a
hmm
good audio voice and their delivery is pretty good, it's okay. But I've had some where it's just like monotone and like today we're going to talk about, and it's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good to feed your brain something good,
it
that's for
is.
sure.
It
So
is
if
for
you can
sure.
listen to the untethered soul, I highly recommend it. I
Yeah.
recommend it to all my patients,
Yeah.
especially if they have anxiety, because it
Yeah.
really will help you understand the difference and just be able to control that psyche
Mm,
in whatever situation that you're going into.
yeah. What do you say to the skeptic of the kind of non-traditional or maybe old school, medicines and therapies and things like that? The people who go, Chinese medicine, acupuncture, really,
Hmm.
Crystal? I mean, is that like, and there's some other ones too, I'm sure, in there. What do you say to the skeptic that's just not bought into that stuff?
Oh, I've been doing that for years.
Yeah,
I've heard it all. I've heard
I'm
that I'm
sure.
doing witchcraft or voodoo, or I was kind of going to a church for a while, and some of the women told me that what I'm studying is non-Christian, and I should change
Whoa.
my path of study. And yeah, some people told me I can't study shamanic healing because of who I am or whatever. So I really just like to tell them that if it didn't work, it wouldn't still be being practiced or used thousands of years later.
Right? Yeah.
And I've been practicing for 6 years. I've helped thousands of people. So if I would have listened to those people telling me not to do it, think of all the thousands of people that I wouldn't have been able to help. So
Mm,
I just also look at it like they're not ready to heal in this way.
yeah.
They might still be looking for a magic pill. A lot of people are on this, oh, I'm going to find a magic pill to fix everything.
Yeah.
Or they're going to get a magic shot to make themselves smaller. Or they're
Hmm.
going to get a magic surgery that's just going to take away the pain. So
Yeah.
if they're in that mindset, I mean, I can just plant the seed, is what I call it. Plant the seed, maybe water it a little bit, leave it alone, because it's hard to change people's beliefs, if they're
Hmm.
not ready. I just look at it like they're not ready to heal in this way. That's how I look at it. And
Yeah.
when they are ready, they know where to find me.
Yeah, that's right. You do have to kind of be ready to go on that journey, or at least be open to it. At least say, I'm willing to give something different a shot. It's
Mhm.
funny how we trust like the laboratory made stuff, but we don't trust stuff that like is actually just more natural for the human body. It's
Mhm.
kind of funny how
Or
that
stuff
works.
that's been used for thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I assume probably in a lot of parts of the world. I don't know if China or wherever else
Oh, yeah.
are they still using these medicines
For
and things like that?
sure. Yeah.
Really?
They told us in school, if you go to a hospital in China, you actually get the best of both worlds. They use
Mm,
both Western and Eastern medicine.
right.
Smaller towns, they're only using acupuncture and Chinese herbs like they always have for thousands of years. But you go to bigger cities, they're using a good combination of it.
Well,
And I like to work integratively. Like I'll tell my patients, I want you to get blood work, have your tests and scopes
totally.
and scans, like peek
Yeah.
inside the body, see what's going on,
Yeah.
rule out anything serious, and then go from there. So I'm not against Western medicine. I actually like to work integratively.
Yeah.
But if you can heal something naturally, let's try to do that first.
Right.
Everything's on a continuum too. So when you first get unhealthy, it's a lot easier to bring it back, especially with natural tools.
Mm,
But if you've let something go on for so far and so long, like years and years of something, or you're at stage 4 cancer, it's like, okay, now you might want to have a little bit of, you can still work integratively and have the best of both worlds. I actually
yeah.
have quite a few cancer patients that have chemo, radiation. They're getting that side of it, but they're coming to me to help them with their nausea or their pain or their night sweats or their side effects from what they're going through. So
Mm.
working integratively, like I said, the best of both worlds is probably the best.
What would be some examples of how Chinese medicine can help heal you, or Chinese herbs, or whatever it is? What are some like use cases there? Because I'm just not familiar with it.
So I have patients that have every kind of imbalance you can think of. I mean, a lot of them even have been through the whole Western medicine. They're at their wits' end with Western medicine. They've tried all kinds of surgeries and pharmaceutical pills and all kinds of things, and nothing is working, and they're not feeling heard. That's when they come to me.
Mm.
And so I really like take my time with patients. I have patients, a lot of infertility lately because Google and ChatGPT are telling people to try acupuncture for
Really?
infertility.
Hey, that's a
And
good bonus for you.
yeah, so I'm like, now I just need the Google
Yeah.
and ChatGPT to tell them to try it for everything, because basically it
Yes.
does work for everything. But with my fertility patients, I had one that went through IVF and it didn't work. So she came to me and she said, I don't know if I want to do IVF again. And I said, well, that's going to be your choice. What I want to help you do is just bring your mind and body back into balance.
Yeah.
She came to see me once a week for 4 weeks for acupuncture, and she took a customized Chinese herbal formula, and she decided to go back to IVF.
What does that mean? What is the formula though? Is that something you buy on Amazon? Can you buy it around here?
No.
Like, and what is in the formula that's so
So
not magical, but just
Yeah,
transformational?
because I had to learn 300 Chinese herbs and then I had to learn how to combine them into formulas. And these
Mm,
formulas have been used for thousands of years.
okay.
So I would pick a base formula for my client and then I would customize it. Say
Oh,
she needs a formula to help her get pregnant, but she's having sleep issues. So I'm going to add this herb for that. So I
mm,
have over 300 herbs in my clinic and then I have the granules, the powder.
okay.
So it'll be a powder, a jar of powder that I give you, and you mix it with hot water and drink it twice a day. And
Now, how much of that is placebo effect, do you think?
well, the herbs go into your body and they bring you back into balance a little
Right.
bit quicker than if I do the acupuncture. We're telling your body to come back into balance, and it
Mm,
can and it will, but sometimes can take a little longer. So, the way I like to describe acupuncture, it's kind of like if you get a paper cut, it will send a signal to your brain, and the brain will send a signal down to heal and repair, right?
right.
In a couple of days, your paper cut's healed up because
Right.
your body has the ability to heal and repair itself.
Sure.
So when I put needles in, they send signals to your brain and the brain back down to heal and repair. So it's not me fixing you. It's not the needle. It's your own body starting to fix itself. We're
Right.
able to tap into all of your already existing mechanisms. Like you have
Mm,
your immune system, your hormones, your endocrine system, your natural painkillers. You have all that set up already. We just go in and get them fired up and start to work properly again. So different points are sending different signals to the brain. How much of it is placebo? That's up to a patient, I guess. I
yeah.
mean, people can come in
I mean, if it
thinking
works, it works. It doesn't matter. But
exactly. Yeah, they can come in like, I
yeah.
don't know if it's gonna work, and
Right.
then they leave and they're like, wow, I actually
Right.
feel better. So
But I assume there are studies and stuff like that done on that stuff. And yeah, I'm
oh,
sure there's a
yeah.
ton.
I love evidence-based-acupuncture.org. It's a
Mm,
great website to go to. Even doctors can go there and see all these studies that are being done and how it's being translated. When I talk to my patients, I don't use a lot of Chinese medicine words like qi and yin and yang. Those are Chinese medicine words. And if I say that to you, you're going to be, it's like me just throwing in a Spanish word and you're like, what's
right.
that word mean?
Right.
So I really like to translate it. That's what they focus on when I was getting my doctorate. They're like,
Mm,
how are you going to translate what we're doing into the Western minded people? You know,
yeah.
so that's why I talk about inflammation. I talk about signals being sent. The herbs are not going to, there's no placebo effect with the herbs. I
Really?
mean,
Yeah.
you're going to feel it. I'm going to give you a
Really? You're that.
formula for a week and you're going to start to feel changes within that week. Now, you might need a refill or two depending on what we're working on, but the herbs are not meant to be taken forever. They're just going
Okay.
to quickly bring you back into balance and then you maintain with foods and self-care.
Wow. So you're pretty convicted around the herbs and their power.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I want to try
I've
it.
been doing it for
Yeah.
6 years,
Yeah.
so
And like, give me a spectrum on what it might be able to help somebody with. Like, would you give it to someone that is struggling with addiction or sleep? Obviously, seems like a natural one. What are some of the common ones? Just the
yeah,
herbs.
the herbs, I do a lot of fertility herbal
Yeah.
medicines, digestive stuff, a little bit of pain. With pain, I like to use a lot of cupping. With addictions, I
Cupping
actually
is the stuff you put like yeah.
yeah, the cups will pull the skin away from the muscle and allow anything that's trapped to flow through. So there's
Oh,
an old saying in Chinese medicine, when you have pain, you have lack of free flow. So
really?
there's always blood and fluids and signaling traveling up and down your body. And if it gets stuck, it's going to cause pain. So all of my tools tell the body to flow properly again, just in slightly different ways. So I
Hmm.
like to start out with gua sha. It's a scraping technique. A lot of women are using the facial gua sha tools for wrinkles, you know, but gua sha is an old technique that's been used for thousands of years along with the acupuncture.
Hmm.
So we do some scraping into the pain. A lot of people have pain in the neck and shoulders. So I'll
Yes.
scrape that area out. And then it helps to find any knots you have, start to break them up.
Hmm.
And then I'll use the cups to pull the skin away from the muscle and allow anything that's trapped to flow through.
Hmm.
And then I typically use a liniment, which is like an oil with Chinese herbs in it to help with circulation and pain. So I like to do a lot of physical work for pain.
Mhm.
Sometimes we'll go to the herbs if we need it.
Now, how does acupuncture actually work?
Just like I said, like sending the signals to the brain and the brain back down. So there's I can't even remember over 400 points from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head and everywhere in between. So we diagnose by patterns of imbalance. So it's my job to bring you in spend a lot of time asking you questions about a lot of different things. We always want to treat the whole body. So even if someone comes for pain, I will ask them the first time I meet them, we spend 90 minutes. I will ask them questions about sleep, digestion, emotions, everything.
Hmm.
And from the questions I ask, then other part of our diagnosis is to feel your pulse and take a picture of your tongue. So a lot of your main organs are represented on your tongue. So we're actually able to see what's going on inside the body based off the tongue
Really?
as well. So then I put everything together, everything you've told me, the tongue and pulse, put it all together, and I figure out which patterns you have going on.
Hmm.
And from those patterns, then I know which points to needle to bring your body back into balance.
That's what I was curious about is like, how far does it go? Is it a certain type of needle? How do you know where to stick it in? Like,
That's
is
part
it
of my 5
painful?
years
I
of
mean,
training.
yeah.
Yeah. So during our training, we not only learn where the points are and what they do, how to find them, but what needle size you're going to use. There's different lengths, there's different thicknesses. What angle, depth, and direction are you going to put it in?
Yeah.
It's all part of the
What's the
training. It's a
typical
lot of
thickness that you're putting
memorization.
the needle in your body?
They're about as thin as a piece of hair. They're
Okay.
so
And how deep
thin.
is it going though?
Not very, doesn't go in very
Okay.
deep, especially like on the legs, the feet, the arms, things like
So you
that.
feel a prickle, kind of?
You might
Yeah.
feel a little something when I put it in, but then anything should go away.
Oh,
If
okay.
I always tell my patients, if anything feels uncomfortable, you let me know.
Okay.
Because after I place all the points and I use my moxibustion, I use all my tools on you, I actually give you a little call button and I leave the room for about 20, 25 minutes. The reason we do that is because a lot of people, we get stuck in our fight or flight mode, right? So
Oh.
acupuncture kind of forces your body back down into your rest and digest mode. And that's where healing occurs. So the more you can relax, even take a little nap while I'm gone, the easier those signals are sent and more healing's happening. I call it going to Aculand, sort of halfway between awake and asleep. I say
Okay.
it's everyone's new favorite place,
Really?
and that's where all the magic happens.
Interesting. I'm gonna go back to the food stuff. And I know necessarily you're not like a food specialist necessarily, but obviously it's wellness in general. What do you think about grass-fed beef and things like that, or organic chicken and stuff like that?
Yes, so that's kind of stuff I do feed my kids, and I have been eating, but the
I do
more,
too. So I'm eating
yeah,
grass-fed beef tonight. So that's why I'm asking. I'm
yeah.
hoping you're gonna tell me
The
you think
more,
it's good.
yeah, the more I study, the more I stick with the Purium people. I mean, a lot of people are kind of shying away from meat these days. My shaman that I study with, he's a vegan. So I'm kind of at a crossroads lately with like, should we be eating this meat or not?
I
I think it's
know.
a very personal decision, just like with a lot of things. So I can't speak too much on that. The meat is very personal and everybody has to decide for themselves.
Yeah.
The few things I can tell you about nutrition from a Chinese medicine standpoint is we want to be careful about how much cold we put in our body, especially if you have a weakened digestion. So if you're drinking ice water all the time, you're putting a bunch of ice in your smoothies, you're eating a bunch of salads, you're actually burning out your digestion.
Really?
Because your digestion has to work harder to heat it up and break it down.
What about if
So,
it's like in the fridge? I drink these all the time. Waters.
we recommend like room temperature to warm beverages
Really?
are better for your digestion.
Wow.
I drink my superfood shakes, I mix powder and water. I don't add any extra ice. If I add frozen fruit, maybe a few, but I try to do fresh. So just try to be mindful of the amount of cold you're putting in your body because you're forcing your digestion to work harder and break
So
it
you're telling me I
down.
can't have ice cream.
Ice cream is not
We
your
can't have
friend.
any nice things, guys. We can't have nice things anymore.
No, you definitely
No, I'm just
can.
kidding.
I mean, but so we'll say like, okay, you love salad. If you're
Yeah.
gonna eat a salad, drink a hot tea with it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
why people have soup and salad because it helps warm it
Yeah.
up to break it down.
Now, if I'm drinking tea, is it important to get organic or not? Does it matter? Like, I'm always like, does it really matter? I don't know. I mean, in my mind, I think it does. I try to get as much organic as I can.
Yeah, well, they say those chemicals and pesticides that they spray on everything. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of information out there about the glyphosate, the Roundup, how it's damaging our
Yeah.
gut lining. That's even being proven as a known carcinogenic. So the more
They don't care. They'll
chemicals,
keep putting it on the damn food as long as it's making money. It's the cheapest thing.
yeah.
It's so that's what bothers me about the system is
Mhm.
like, where is people intervening that are like, hey, this isn't good for our population.
Mhm.
But the problem is we got lobbyists coming in and they pay for people to get elected. And that's a whole rabbit hole we don't have to go down. But
Yeah. Well,
it's
the
sad.
more
It's 'cause-
people are aware, the more they can try to make changes. And
Yeah.
that's why I decided to start supporting the company Purium because they do regenerative farming.
Yeah.
They are eco-friendly. All their packaging is compostable. They do care about the earth, and they're not using the chemicals, and they're using all organic farms. So it's just important to be aware and try to make little changes when you can.
And the problem is too, it's just expensive to eat organic and supernatural and regenerative, right? I think in a lot of cases, if you go for the organic grass-fed beef, it's going to be more expensive than the traditional beef that's probably got hormones and a bunch of crazy stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality of, and maybe it always is that way because it just takes more effort to be able to grow it that way. Or you can't mass produce it. I think like in the 60s or whenever it was, in America, we got into mass production and just highly processed foods. It just was a wave. Cereals and meats and chips and candy, and it just became like a huge. And I think somewhere around before then, it was like you ate a pretty home cooked meal. Like you got stuff at the market that day. It was just different.
Yeah, everything was mostly organic back then, right?
Gosh.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that we have to pay more for organic foods, but you can find companies that are affordable like I have. I mean, when I started with Purium, I did their 30-day ultimate lifestyle transformation. So I got my superfood shakes for breakfast and lunch for 30 days. I got a supplement to get rid of the glyphosate, repair the gut lining. I got a vegan protein. I got a parasite cleanse. I've got a tart cherry juice to drink at night, and I got a portable blender. I got all of that for $12 a day.
Wow, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
So like $75,000.
No, yeah, you think that when you look at the
that's
package,
not bad at all.
And you see the price of like $360 or something, but if you break it down, it's $12 a day. And I
know people that spend more than that in coffee.
Exactly. Yeah. I was doing that as well, getting the lattes for $10, going across the street having tacos, $15. You know. So when I looked at the price originally, I was like, oh, that's a little expensive. But then I broke it down, and I'm like, this is breakfast and lunch and all my supplements and my blender for $12 a day. Like that's affordable.
That is very affordable.
So
you just gotta know.
You just gotta shift the mindset too. So now I treat it like an online grocery store. Like every month I go on there. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I'm like, oh, I want to try this. I want to try that.
Yeah.
So it's really about shifting your finances. So say you're spending all this money at the grocery store and you're bringing home like, what people bring home, especially if you have kids, like snacks and goodies and this and that. You just have to make a conscious effort. Like, I'm not going to allot my money towards that. I still do go to the grocery store. I like fresh fruits and veggies. Yeah. I like coconut water in some of my shakes. And so there's certain things I still get at the grocery store. I make a healthy dinner at night. Yeah. We eat meat and we eat potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, things like that.
Brown rice or white rice?
Either one.
Okay. I've been getting on brown rice recently. It's I actually found a good product, and there is some organic options at Whole Foods too, where it's good. It's really good.
Have you tried black rice?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh, I've tried it in like the mixes, where it's like black, brown, like that wild rice kind of stuff. But no.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a little adjustment because I love white rice. I'll eat rice with anything. Yeah, like I do. I'm obsessed with it.
It comes from the earth, so
it does.
Not bad for you.
You think that, but sometimes that stuff is. They say the white rice like spikes your glucose and things like that too.
Yeah, for certain people.
But isn't that better than McDonald's or a lot of other things?
Oh, for
right?
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, I think that's such a good point that you bring up. Is like we have to stop making excuses and saying, "Oh, it's this," and there is the reality of yes, it's true in a lot of cases, but control what you can control. If you can swap this for swap that, and it's not going to make a huge difference, or if you can look for $12 a day. Most people are spending more than that on a lot of other stupid stuff.
Exactly.
And so how important is your health? It's it should be the number one thing pretty much, right? Or one of the number one things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There was a saying the other day, people have 99 problems until their health goes bad, and then you only have one. So
I love that saying. I think the one I've heard is a healthy man or woman has hundreds of problems. An unhealthy person has one. And it's just getting healthy. That's it. And we don't think about that because we take our health for granted sometimes until something happens. And then we go, I would just trade everything to be healthy right now. Then nothing else really matters.
Exactly.
And that's why preventative is the best thing you can do because you can get ahead of it. You can control it. You can make the chances of you getting unhealthy less likely. Things can always happen. But what do you think? Because we got a lot of founders, entrepreneurs, business owners, executives that listen to the show. What are your thoughts on the hustle culture and, people overworking sometimes, or do you have any thoughts on that right now from like a mental health perspective and a wellness overall? Because I know a lot of founders personally that definitely trade their health for growing the business and making more money. And I sometimes I question, and that's everyone has their own life and their own prerogative. They can do whatever they want to do. But sometimes I think, man, you're trading your health, you're trading time for kids, you're
Mhm.
trading all this stuff to grow the business for what? Like, it's good to grow the business. Nice job. I want to grow mine. You probably want to grow yours, but
Mhm.
not at the trading off of our health and our kids or our
Mhm.
well-being, right?
I see that a lot even in women. I treat a lot of
Oh,
women. So they come to me like so out of balance. Like all the questions I'm asking, like everything's out of balance.
yeah.
And I often tell them, like, we do get busy as women, especially moms, like taking care of everybody and everything else. And at the end of the
That's a good
day,
point.
you haven't done anything for yourself. So, and you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So if you can just squeeze out that little bit of time, like one thing every day, one thing once a week, and one thing once a month, start there. And if you can get those in, then you can build from that. But you can definitely be happier, healthier, able to. And I tell people, like, I have to do it, or else I'd be a hypocrite telling my patients to do their daily, weekly, monthlies, and then they don't. And if I don't do these things, I start to feel all out of balance, and I'm not being the best mom I can be, or I'm not going to be able to come in and treat my patients if I'm all feeling out of balance. Now,
Hmm.
stuff does happen, it comes up. You can come into work feeling a little stressed. I like to help people build tools in their tool belt to quickly bring yourself back to balance. One of my favorite things is the 4-1-7 breath. So you breathe in for the count of 4, hold for 1, and out for 7. If you do that 3 times, you can already start to feel a reset. I also love tapping. So say you're feeling extra frustrated that day over something that happened, you can just tap and say, okay, frustration, you got to get out. Okay, sadness, got to go. Like, just tell those feelings to get out and tap yourself. It actually works.
Mm.
And then I love the tuning fork. I don't know if you ever experienced tuning forks, but I love doing the one on the heart. Just like strike the tuning fork, put it on your heart a couple times. You feel the vibrations, and it really does help bring you back to balance. So
Mm.
it's different for everyone because everyone likes to heal and come back into balance in different ways. But definitely having some quick tools in your tool belt of things you do to kind of quickly bring yourself in
Yeah.
balance is helpful. And then making sure you're hitting those daily, weekly, monthlies to keep everything in balance too. And
Hmm.
the more in balance and centered and grounded we are, the more productive that you can be, or
That's what I
you can
think.
take
It's
on
just, I mean,
anything.
I've been in business pretty much as long as you have. I started my business in 2020, and I was always like, I'm never going to sacrifice my time, my relationship with my kids. I'm not going to sacrifice my health. I've certainly been more healthy and less healthy, but I've never like really sacrificed. I don't know. I think the balance is important. And I know like when people talk balance, they're like, oh, there's no such thing as balance. And I hear what they're saying, but I don't look at it like exact perfect balance at all times. I just look at like if you have kids, you have a good relationship with your kids, your spouse, your business, your health. You can do those things at the same time. It's
Mhm.
not that one. If I look at last Monday, it's like it's that may have not been a perfectly balanced day. It doesn't need to be. But
Mhm.
over the course of this year, I plan on taking care of my health. I plan on having a great relationship with my friends and family and loved ones. I plan on growing the business, and I think you can do all those things.
Yeah, you can. It's always evolving and changing too.
Yeah.
So you just got to learn how to go with the ebb and flow and make your adjustments where you need to.
Exactly. How's your journey so far been as a business owner, as a founder? Is it what you thought it was going into it in 2020?
Well, I am not a businessy person, so I love taking care of my patients. I love
Yeah.
that part of it, but the business side of it, I am just like, oh my goodness. And we had one class in business in Chinese
Yeah.
medicine school at the very end. So I really feel like I've just been winging it basically.
I think we
Yeah.
all do in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky enough to meet someone who was, what do you call him? A business consultant. He was living in New York for 8 years and helping people build their brands.
Yeah.
So he helped me build my website.
Cool.
His name's Luke. Hey, Luke.
Luke, shout
Thanks.
out
Thanks
Luke.
for all your help. Yeah, I
You
had
made
to
an
give him
impact,
a
Luke.
shout out. I
Yeah.
actually invited him to come with me because he did help me in starting the business, but he it was busy today. But
So he's a founder of a business?
well, he helped me with my website, he
Okay.
helped me with marketing, he helped me with branding. I didn't really know a lot about that stuff,
Yeah.
so I feel lucky that I met him and he was
Yeah.
able to help me so I could
Yeah.
learn some of that stuff, because like I said, we had 5 years of Chinese medicine training and 1 class in business at the end, and I was like, "What am I doing?" And as a doctor of Chinese medicine, acupuncture and Chinese medicine, it's not like there's a bunch of places out there hiring, in my field. So it's either like go to work for somebody like 45 minutes away or make your own business. That was
Right.
basically the choice I had. So
Mm.
I sort of was, I feel like kind of forced into
Yeah.
to business side of it. And it does get tricky to balance. A lot of people want me to accept insurance, and, billing insurance is a whole nother thing. So right now I'm like, I'll give you a super bill. It's a special receipt. You can send to your insurance and get reimbursed, but it's just a lot when it comes to the business
It
side of
is.
it, especially in a clinic like I have to do all the marketing, the advertising. I have to do the billing, the checking out of people. I have to do the scheduling. Like I do all of that, and it gets to be a lot to balance the business side of it and then the treating patient side of it. So I was lucky that I met someone to kind of help me get that up and going. And now he's kind of doing his thing and I'm doing mine. But at least I got to learn from that. And then joining the company Purium, they have Zooms all the time on business stuff, like free Zooms that I've been trying to do too. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always just trying to learn as I go about the business side of it. But it's not personally my favorite part of it. Like
Yeah.
I really love treating the patients,
Yeah.
and the whole business stuff is like, oh man, I
Mm-hmm.
have a pile of stuff like papers on my desk. Like, okay, I got to get to
Yeah.
that.
I
So,
could say it doesn't surprise me from talking to you. You're very passionate about the patient service and things like that, which I think is great. But
mhm.
unfortunately, there's other stuff that comes with the business. At least you got a
Yeah.
good mentor. I think it's important. I've had a couple throughout my career too. Just good mentors that,
Oh
were
yeah.
able to stop and give you some advice and, hey, this is probably going to happen around the corner here that you might want to be aware of. And that's really important because you
Hmm.
can't you can't do it alone. It's tough to do it alone.
Oh yeah.
Got to have good people around you.
I love good
Yeah.
mentor.
Yeah. So what is the next couple of years? What is your goal in the business, or do you have something that you're excited about or that you want to accomplish? Or
I'm going to finish massage therapy school at the end of July, so I'll be able to offer massage. I have at least another year, maybe a little more, with studying with the shamans, and I'll be able to offer full on shamanic healing. Right now, I kind of squeeze a little bit of it into my acupuncture sessions, so
hmm
that's fun. But for me, it's just having lots of natural ways for people to heal. And I like to encourage them, like scan all your options, and whichever one's kind of lighting you up, that's what you should try or do.
hmm
So just finishing out those studies so that, there's more options that people have. And, you know, getting the word out there that acupuncture is good for everything. So if you're struggling with an imbalance, like come on in. I do offer free consultations, which I'm really excited about because I love it when people come in and just talk to me. I show them the
Yeah.
tools, I explain how it works, ask them how I can help them understand, all the different options. And so the more people I can help, the better. That's my goals, I guess.
I love it.
Just help as many people as I can.
Yeah. I
Doing my
love it.
mission. Well, my number one mission in life is taking care of my kids. My second
Yes.
mission is helping my patients heal. So
Yes. Yeah, I
those are
totally get that. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Is there anything that we missed that we didn't talk about that you think is important that was on your mind? If not, no, but I just want to make sure it wasn't something like pressing that you think the audience needs to know about that we didn't cover.
um, just get out there and start healing. The
Yeah.
more you do, the better you're gonna feel.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything at the moment.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely, where can people find you and get to know more about what you guys do? I know we're going to link the website and things like that, but
Mhm.
where should people go to learn more about you guys?
Downtown Sycamore, across from the movie theater. I've been there for almost 6 years. So yeah, the website. I am on social media, the Facebook and the Instagram,
Yeah.
and like free consultation. So come in and let's talk.
Yeah. Cool. Love it. Well, we'll link everything in the description. I appreciate you coming on the show. This is a great conversation.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.